Hey everyone, this is David Brown with the migration update for April 10th, 2022 from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. Today started off with some snow and rain showers, and the winds were mostly from the west-northwest and were pretty strong throughout the whole day. So I mostly watched from the car, except for a period in the middle of the day when we had some visitors. But overall, a pretty slow day and not too many photos. We had small groups of turkey vultures migrating throughout the day for a total of 53. Here's an immature bald eagle that was hanging around in the morning. We had a few small flocks of Bonaparte's gulls migrate through for a total of 31 for the day. And some Bonaparte's gulls this time of year have the more plain head with the black dot behind the eye. And some of them have the darker head like we see here. And this one here in the middle gives us a nice look at that wingtip where the outer feathers are white, which contrasts with the gray of the rest of the wing, and there's black only at the very tips of the feathers. Here we have a house sparrow, which is normally not a very exciting species, but it's actually something that we don't see too often at the Hawk Watch. One highlight of the day was this group of 6 sandhill cranes. And another highlight was this black vulture, and the banders at the Payne Beach blind sent me a text to let us know that this bird was on its way towards us. And actually it took a while, and once we spotted it, it was in sight for probably like 30 minutes or 45 minutes. It was over the west spit, then it would come back to the left, and it was wandering over the bay for a while. So just a lot of birds taking their time on this day with strong winds and not wanting to push across the bay. And this photo shows us the distinctive field marks of black vulture, so we can identify this bird just by the shape. You know, it's not lanky like a turkey vulture. It's more compact, very short tail that's kind of like a triangle, but with a very straight trailing edge. The white only out here at the wingtips rather than along the whole trailing edge. And this is actually the top side of the bird. Here we have another immature bald eagle. And remember, anytime you see an eagle that has a big head and also white in this wing pit area, that's going to be a bald eagle. Here's an osprey that gave a pretty close look as it passed low overhead. And if we look at the eBird list, only 37 species seen today, but I'll be honest, I never got the scope out and I didn't really pick through the waterfowl on the bay too closely. But just overall with the strong winds, didn't get a lot of the normal songbirds that I might hear throughout the day. Just a lot of birds probably hunkered down, waiting for better weather. So as always, I'll put a link to this and you can check it out for yourself, but I covered pretty much all the highlights already. And if we look at hawk count for the migrant raptor totals, we had 1 black vulture, 53 turkey vultures, 1 osprey, 3 bald eagles, 3 sharp-shinned hawks, 6 Cooper's hawks, 4 red-tailed hawks, and 1 American kestrel for a total of 72 migrants today. And if we look at the forecast for tomorrow, it's looking partly cloudy and then overcast with a slight chance of a rain shower. High almost up to 60, winds south-southeast at 10 to 15 kilometers per hour, which my weather app also said was 10 to 15 miles per hour. I always just switch the units to get the 2 different measurements, so don't blame me for the bad math there. A light southerly flow overnight should bring in some songbirds, so there's a number of species I'm keeping an eye on that should be showing up, like chipping sparrow, field sparrow, fox sparrow, Savannah sparrow, American bittern. Things like little gull are certainly possible in flocks of Bonaparte's gulls. Common tern should be showing up soon. So just a really exciting time of year when there's a lot of first of years that are becoming possible. And when we get into the hawk migration time of day, the winds will be kind of a light southeast and then strengthening to a stronger easterly wind. And those winds can be decent for us. The one thing that is normally true on those more easterly winds is that the birds are migrating lower, especially when the winds are stronger. So sometimes we get decent looks at birds, but When it's an easterly wind, it's a headwind for the birds, so normally our totals for the day are lower just because it takes birds longer to push through, especially with things like turkey vultures. You see them way out in front, and it takes them forever to actually go by. But we're coming into the time of year that we're seeing more Cooper's hawks and sharp-shinned hawks, and also falcons like American kestrels, so could be a decent day for seeing and photographing some of those. At least that's my hope. For Tuesday, we're looking at a mix of sun and clouds with a high in the mid-50s, winds west-northwest at 10 to 15 miles per hour. So those winds are a little bit more on the stronger end of what we want, but certainly not as strong as today. So I would expect it to be a decent day with moderate migration. And for Wednesday, we're looking at a mix of clouds and sun with scattered thunderstorms, high in the upper 50s. Wind south-southeast at 10 to 15 kilometers per hour. And again, kind of similar to tomorrow. These days with southeasterly winds, we can get a decent flight of birds that are coming pretty low, close to the platform. So we'll hope that that sticks to being a good day. And actually, the Windy app showing the wind was showing different winds than that. So we'll keep an eye on that to see what the forecast settles into as we get closer. All right, that's it for today. And as I mentioned earlier, there were some visitors midday. They were from the Raptor ID class, and most of them rescheduled for next week, but there were a few that were unable to come next weekend. So they came today, and actually, despite the strong winds, we were able to show them quite a few raptors. Not a huge number, but a really good variety. So it turned out better than we expected. If you like this video, please hit the like button and subscribe and hit the notifications bell so you don't miss any of these daily updates from the Braddock Bay Hawk Watch. This is David Brown. Thanks for watching.
Oh.